They don't make too many wide receivers that are 6'5", 200 pounds, run fast, jump high, have elite route running ability, and do everything exceptional like A.D. Mitchell can. And I cannot, and I mean I cannot, emphasize this enough. A.D. Mitchell going from Georgia to Texas is much bigger than just, oh, Texas is getting another great wide receiver. We made a video about 2 or 3 days ago talking about how Georgia's star wide receiver A.D. Mitchell, he out of nowhere announced that he's leaving Georgia. It caught a lot of people off guard, including myself, because I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Why would he leave? Things are going great at Georgia. He was going to be a starter next season. He's on one of the best teams in the country. There's no reason to. Georgia's a pathway, a gateway, whatever you want to call it, to the NFL. Why would he leave though? On paper at least, it didn't make any sense, and I told you guys in that video, I thought more than likely he would go to Texas. But however, my reason for him going to Texas was different than the actual reason. Or maybe it wasn't so different, but there was definitely something else that had a play into it. But I'm sure Texas fans are saying this right now. Hey, I don't care how we got this guy, I don't care why we got this guy, all I know is, we got this guy. And to be honest, I'd be feeling the same way. It doesn't matter why, how, what, if, when, or where, or what about this guy, you got him. I think it's a steal because A.D. Mitchell, the kid's special to say the least. And we're going to talk about this a little later in the video, stay tuned. You're now pairing up A.D. Mitchell with another star wide receiver that goes by the name of, I think Texas fans, you might have heard of this guy here and there, Xavier Worthy. I remember watching film and getting ready for the Alabama and Texas game. I said it since day one, this Xavier Worthy kid, he is a problem. And I feel the exact same way about A.D. Mitchell, and the scariest part about this is, they're on the same team now. We gotta talk about it. We're not doing no intro, none of that. It's simply, if you like the content, consider subscribing. If you don't like college football content and you want to be a loser, then don't subscribe. All right, Matt, blah, 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 shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh yeah, by the way, first things first, I want to throw this in there. I meant to say this in the intro. I apologize for being late to this subject and manner because I meant to talk about it a little bit earlier today, but we had some other major topics going on with Ed Reed. If you didn't hear what happened with Ed Reed, and we also talked about Cormani McClain, go watch those videos. And last but not least, before we get into the main topic, I'm going to bring this up. What about the Alabama basketball team? Look, I get it. A lot of you may not care about college basketball, but I'm telling you, this Alabama basketball team is no joke. What's so impressive about this Alabama team, and make no mistakes about it, they're not a fluke. They're not just beating teams, they're destroying them. I couldn't even tell you the last time this Alabama basketball team had a game that was competitive in the past, I don't know, 8 or 9 games. They're beating the crap, and I mean the absolute crap out of teams. It's unreal what they're doing. They are straight up dismantling teams left and right. I just wanted to speak on that. Shout out to Bama Hoops. I'm going to give them credit. Unlike the football team, they haven't disappointed me this season. And also, unlike the football team, when they're supposed to win the games they're supposed to, they do it. Maybe Nick Saban and the football team can take some notes from the basketball team. Who would have ever thought those words would come out of anybody's mouth? It is a great time to be an Alabama basketball fan. This is the best team I've ever seen by far. Anyways, getting on topic here with our main topic, the main encore, the main reason you clicked onto this video, we got to talk about Mr. A.D. Mitchell. And oh yeah, by the way, I got to throw this in there. These highlights are A.D. Mitchell highlights. You're going to see some plays where he's taking snaps at the quarterback position because this is in high school, obviously. But I just wanted to say, whenever I'm showing you highlights, 95% of the time, it's highlights of the player we're talking about in the video. I wanted to make that clear because I get questions about that even to this day. I know a lot of you understand and get that, but I want to make it clear for some people that still ask questions about it. And also the reason I can't show college highlights, I would love to, but I can't, is because the NCAA has strict, and I mean strict NCAA copyright rules for YouTube. So I did want to clarify on that. Anytime you see highlights, more times than not, it's the player we're talking about. All right, Matt, get back on track with the video. Like I said in the intro, talked about this a couple of days ago because he made the announcement out of nowhere that he's leaving Georgia. Didn't make sense to me whatsoever. However, thankfully, we got one of the greatest college football community. No. Scratch that. The greatest college football community on the YouTube platform, and you guys, you filled me in just like you always do. I was telling you in the video that maybe he would go to USC or Texas just because of the NIL deals, and also they got great quarterbacks in Quinn Ewers and Caleb Williams. Those were the 2 schools I narrowed it down to, and I was somewhat right. He made it official yesterday that he's going to be transferring from Georgia to Texas. Straight up an amazing big-time time and huge pickup for Texas. We'll talk about that in just a second. On the video I posted 2 or 3 days ago, here's what some of you guys said, and you're right. Georgia fan here. From what I've heard, he wants to be close to his kids, so he's going to Texas. He's from Texas and his family is over there. It was disappointing to hear at first, but when you put it like that, I can't really blame him. Keep in mind, the person that commented this, by the way, shout out to you, said this 2 days ago. And I'm going to be 100% honest with all of you. I had no idea whatsoever he was from there or he had a kid there. I didn't know that, so thank you to every single person that was commenting that on the video. You guys, when you comment on videos, send me stuff on Twitter and Instagram, you help me out more than you know. I do want to bring that up because that's some key information, because it now gives us a perspective like, okay, that's why he chose Texas. That's why he's leaving Georgia. Because at first I was telling you guys, man, this doesn't make sense on paper. He's got to be going to Texas or USC for money, but that wasn't the case. I'm sure he'll work out some NIL deal there, but the main reason he's going there is to be closer to his family. I get it. I do want to bring that up and share with all of you because I'm sure some of you, like you commented, you already knew that, but I feel like a lot of people did not. I'll be the first to tell you, I did not know that. Getting past that, and now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk football and let's talk about what's next. For all of my SEC fans, especially Georgia fans, you know this, AD Mitchell, the dude's a beast. And I get it when you look at his stats and numbers, Matt, pop them up on the screen right here. It doesn't scream out, man, this is a star player, or man, this guy's a beast. There's 2 things you got to take into account. 1, last year, he was a true freshman, and 2, this year, he was hurt for a majority of the season. And here's a little fun fact for you. In 4 playoff games played, he has 4 touchdowns, including the game winner against Ohio State, and he also had a touchdown against TCU. Big-time players make big-time plays, and I'm going to predict that AD Mitchell is going to be a big-time player at Texas. I could be wrong on that, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Let me show you Xavier Worthy, though, and I'm going to put this out there right now. I was disappointed in him this season. I really was. I'll show you his numbers. In 2021, as a true freshman, 62 catches, nearly 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's awesome. Everybody was hyping him up. Fast forward in time, though, this most recent season, his sophomore year, 2022, 60 catches, 760 yards, and 9 touchdowns. Every stat, it decreased. And you know why I feel like it decreased? Not because Xavier Worthy got worse. It's nothing like that. It's because the defenses, they zoned in. They focused on him. Because as a freshman, they didn't know who this guy was or anything about him, and that's why he went off. But this year, he started seeing some of those double teams. He started to get frustrated, and with him being the best wide receiver, if you took him away at Texas, they didn't really have a great number 2. They had some good wide receivers, but they didn't have another Xavier Worthy. Heading into the future, though, when you got Xavier Worthy on one side of the field and AD Mitchell on the other, you can't lock in and double one of them. You got to play single coverage. And this is why I bring up the argument when people say, man, why do all these great players go to Alabama? You're just going to be sitting on the bench. And it's because of stuff like this. Great players want to play with other great players. If you're a great player on a bad team, you're not going to shine that much because the defense is going to take you away and you're not going to look as good. But if you're a great player on a great team, that's going to help you out. For example, that Alabama wide receiver class that was loaded, you couldn't double team any of them, and that's why all those 4 guys, all 4 you see in this picture, they shined. You see what I'm saying, and I think you get my point. AD Mitchell going to Texas isn't just as simple as, hey, this is a great pickup for Texas at the wide receiver position. It's also going to benefit Xavier Worthy. I believe that 100%. Xavier Worthy, AD Mitchell, they're going to feed off of one another. And oh yeah, also got to take into account your boy Quinn Ewers. He's coming back for year 2. Year 1, he had some bumps in the road, but now I think he's going to be ready to ball out. He's had a year in the system. He's getting more comfortable. I think he's going to be ready to go. When I tell you I am ecstatic about some Texas football next year, that's an understatement. I mean, come on now. Look at these highlights. By the way, these are AD Mitchell highlights. The dude's just a flat-out beast. That is the only word I know to use. He is a beast. Let me put it this way, and we'll end out the video here. They don't make too many wide receivers that are 6'5", 200 pounds, run fast, jump high, have elite route running ability, and do everything exceptional like AD Mitchell can. And I cannot, and I mean I cannot, emphasize this enough. AD Mitchell going from Georgia to Texas is much bigger than just, oh, Texas is getting another great wide receiver. It's bigger than that because now Quinn Ewers has a guy who can take the top off of the defense, a speed demon in Xavier Worthy, but he's also got a guy that's like Mike Evans and AD Mitchell. AD Mitchell is your typical 50-50 throw the ball up type of guy that that's going to win a lot of them battles. And for a lot of you that didn't pay attention to how Quinn Ewers plays, he likes throwing the ball up here and there. He has a lot of those plays where you're clenching your teeth because he threw the ball up into coverage, and sometimes his receiver comes down with it and sometimes they don't. That's how he plays. I could go on and on. I think this is huge for Texas. If I'm a Texas fan, I'm smiling ear to ear. You should love this pickup. Now, don't get it twisted. You know how it's going to go. Texas thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl next year, and they're still going to finish 8-5. Nothing's going to change there, but your offense may be slightly more explosive than last year's. I'm very curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But, Emily!